When a state decides to kill someone, what's the best way to do it? Hang them? Poison them? Perhaps shoot or stone them? Which method is the most humane? The most acceptable? This is Edmari Mpagi. The state of Uganda decided that the best way to kill him was to hang him. After being sentenced to death, he spent 19 years languishing on death row, waiting to be killed, and watching helplessly as his friends were led to the gallows and executed. There was only one problem. Mpagi was innocent. The man he was accused of murdering was alive and well. The state conceded its mistake and finally released him. Others were not so lucky. Manuel Martinez Coronado was an impoverished indigenous farmer from Guatemala sentenced to death by lethal injection. His execution was broadcast live on television. After the state medics administered the poison that would kill him, it took over 18 agonizing minutes for him to die. Viewers could hear the dying man's wife and 3 children sobbing as they witnessed their loved one being taken from them. Whether the accused is innocent or guilty, is the death penalty the right punishment? For centuries, the world has used the death penalty, but this is changing. With over 130 countries abandoning this cruel punishment, the world is moving towards total abolition. But for the countries which still have the death penalty, hanging, poisoning, and stoning are just some of the methods still used to officially end the lives of human beings. Whatever the method, aren't executions always brutal? In Kuwait, Sri Lankan national Sanjaya Rohan Kumara was executed by hanging. He was declared dead immediately, but when his body arrived at the morgue, the staff noticed he was still moving. It took 5 hours for him to die. Is this humane? If it was your mother, your brother, or your son facing such a terrifying death at the hands of the state, could you support the death penalty? Amnesty International believes that every execution increases the suffering in society and multiplies the victims of violence, with devastated families left behind. As the 10-year-old daughter of a man executed in Texas, USA, asked, "They're going to kill him because he killed somebody. So when they kill him, who do we get to kill?" Can you imagine spending your life wondering, will this day be my last? In Japan, prisoners are not told of their execution until a few hours before the state kills them. It's a terrifying fact that every country that uses the death penalty does so after flawed and unfair legal processes. In Saudi Arabia, hundreds of migrant workers from Africa have been executed after legal proceedings in a language they didn't understand. In some cases without even knowing that they had been sentenced to death. Many political prisoners have been executed following convictions obtained through torture or unfair trials, even when they were innocent. Tenzing Shan was convicted of the murder of his wife. He protested his innocence right up to the moment of his death. The Chinese government executed him in 1985, although his wife reappeared in 2005 alive. Many countries have problems with crime that must be addressed, but the answer is not the death penalty. Killing a person for whatever reason only continues the cycle of violence. Amnesty International believes there is never an acceptable execution. Join the campaign to end this cruel and inhumane punishment.